Hello and welcome to Catholic Current, where we give you an update on events affecting the Church in the United States. From Washington, D.C., I'm Mara Moser. Soon, many parishes will take up the Catholic Home Mission's appeal to support dioceses here in the United States and in its territories that face fragile financial situations or other hurdles that significantly impact their ability to offer the most basic pastoral programs to the faithful. We spoke with the chairman of the Subcommittee on Catholic Home Missions, Bishop Sean McKnight. What would you say to someone who is prayerfully considering whether they will give or how much they will give to this appeal?
You know, we're very good at helping and recognizing our obligation to help those in need. And we do that corporately as a conference of bishops, as the Church in the United States, when there is great need outside the United States, whether there's famine or some kind of poverty that's great, or major disasters that occur both within the United States and elsewhere. But there is an ongoing reality of a need to help support the Church in these areas where there aren't that many Catholics, or they're very poor and very rural. It's very important that we have a thriving Catholic presence there as well. It's our mission territory within the United States.
April 30th marks the 60th annual World Day of Prayer for Vocations. We spoke with Bishop Earl Boyer, chairman of the Committee on Clergy, Consecrated Life, and Vocations. So we're always praying for vocations. USCCB has a lot of resources to help people pray for vocations, as well as to help people who are discerning a vocation. What are some other ways that people can support and encourage vocations?
The key issue, and this I would speak to all of my brother priests, you've got to ask guys and gals if they've ever thought about what God wants in their life. The statistics show that a contact by a priest is just so very, very important for a young person thinking about this. The second thing I would say, and this really falls in on families, and you know, it happens haphazardly. Do they ever ask their kids, what is it that you think God wants for you? It's pretty clear. What do you want to do with your life is a common question we often ask young people. What would you want to do with it? What is it that God wants of you in your life? I think that's such an important question for young people to ask themselves. What does God want of me? Now, God's going to plant into our hearts the very thing that he wants of us. So there's no incongruence hopefully between our deepest desires and God's deepest desires for us as well.
The Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate recently released its findings in its annual survey of men scheduled to be ordained this year. Among its findings, most ordinants first considered a vocation to the priesthood in elementary or in high school. You can read the full report at usccb.org. Before reciting the Regina Coeli prayer on April 23rd, Pope Francis encouraged the tens of thousands of visitors in St. Peter's Square to perform an evening examination of conscience and share everything with Jesus, who always listens.
Today's
gospel invites us to tell Jesus everything, sincerely, without being afraid of disturbing him. He listens. Without fear of saying the wrong thing. Without shame at our struggle to understand. There's a good way of doing this. And today I would like to propose it to you. It consists of dedicating some time every evening to a brief examination of conscience. What happened within me today? That is the question. It is a matter of rereading the day with Jesus. Rereading the day, opening your heart to him, bringing to him people, choices, fears, falls, and hopes, and all the things that happened. To learn gradually to look at things with different eyes, with his eyes and not our own.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Catholic Current. You can find out more about any of this week's topics by visiting us online at usccb.org or follow us on social media at USCCB. I'm Mara Moser. See you next week.